Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program and the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most home sellers believe they should leave for showings. How can home sellers show their homes, sell, and keep full control over the entire process?
Well, Richard, I've been doing this a long time, and I got involved with a group that is some of the top agents in the country, and we share our best training with each other. So I was probably 10 years in before I was trained on how to show a home. There's no training on how to show a home. That's why I say some agents, act like overpaid door openers. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. Sometimes they don't respect the seller's property. And we just don't play that way. First of all, we want to make sure the buyer can buy, but the state does not require that the buyer can buy, right? They don't require the agent to know that. So imagine having somebody getting your house all ready to show, and then somebody opens the door and lets a buyer in, and then you find out later, oh, they're still working on their pre-qualification, or oh, they didn't want that kind of floor plan. Well, they never asked. So I think there's a lot of issues, but there's no rules around it. So agents feel this strange sense of entitlement that when a house goes on the market, the house should be available to show whenever they want to show. And so if you hear that from a real estate agent as a seller, my answer would be, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to set up the property to show when it works for me, because you can't just drop everything. Like if you're cooking dinner and all of a sudden someone's like, oh my God, I want to show your house. Yeah, you don't realize that probably that agent got that lead from Zillow. They don't know if they can buy a couch in Craigslist, and they are pop-tarting out of their office to show up at the home and hope and pray that maybe this buy can buy. So don't make it inconvenient for you. That's no fun. It's very stressful too. So I suggest to sellers that we narrow the window and make it work for you. There are times when the seller is not ready to show. We might be on the market, but we're restricting showings either for they've got repairs that they're doing or stuff like that. And just a few weeks ago, I had some buyer who saw it online go over and stalk the seller, catch them outside, go pick their brain, try to make friends, and try to get that house actually before they were able to get in and see it. The other thing that agents will tell you to do is you should leave for the showing, because my buyers aren't comfortable. I'm like, well, it's their house. You can't tell them to leave their own home. It is kind of customary. Okay. If you have to stay in your home, it's all right. I would recommend that you just, let them in, and then just don't hover over them. Say, hey, I'll be in the garage. If you have any questions, I'll step out of your way, whatever. And don't walk around and do a Vanna White. That's not a good idea, because the agent doesn't like it. Some buyers don't like it. What the agent wants to do is to be able to talk frankly with the buyer about the house. They should be getting feedback as to whether or not the buyer likes a house like that. But if you're in front of a seller, they can't give any feedback about what they think, right? So that's the issue, is they want to stand there and give their feedback, positive or negative. Same thing on inspections. I see more and more of the inspectors and agents asking the seller to leave their own home during a 3-hour inspection. Just last weekend, I have a vacant property, and the agent texted me and said, oh, something came up. I can't make the inspection. Can't you let the unlicensed, unqualified inspector in your listing for 3 hours unescorted, give out the combo? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. It invalidates my insurance. If you don't have somebody on your team that can be there for the inspection, then you need to reschedule. And oh, okay, I got it covered. So there are probably agents that will allow it to happen. I won't. And the other issue is, sometimes the inspectors influence the buyers away from the home. over condition issues that might really not be an issue. You know, like they come in with the mold wand and make stuff up. It's just crazy town what goes on in real estate. It's kind of wild. So don't make your home available 24/7. Many times the real estate agent that might be meeting that buyer has never met the buyer. They haven't vetted the buyer. They are just using that showing opportunity to maybe earn a commission. So what would the sellers say if they knew that agent showing appointments were for maybe buyers? What do you think, Richard, about that?
I think they would be curious and probably a little bit upset about that. I would recommend they call you.
Yeah, I mean, there are some agents that do work for months and years or whatever with a buyer and can't get them into a house. I understand that. That happens too, but a majority of them are just opening a door. The other issue I have is that sometimes the agents don't read the showing instructions. I can't get them to read one paragraph on their cell phone about the property. I had one last year that had structural issues. And the MLS would not allow me to put the condition of the home in the publicly facing paragraph. That's why I have alternative ways of marketing, because their rules are just crazy. So I put it in the private remarks. I also put it in the showing instructions. This has structural problems, offered as is, call for details. They didn't even read it. So they get to the house with the buyer. The buyer's not happy because they're surprised over the condition. And then the agent throws me under the bus and says, well, Barb should have told me. And I'm like, I did. You just had to go click and read it. So that's a problem. So I have to plan for all of that the way I present the home. So basically, the way it works now is Realtor.com, Homes.com, Zillow. They have become billion-dollar companies by basically improving on the MLS systems. There are probably 1,500 different MLS, which is basically a database of homes for sale. And they're very local yokel. There's probably 15 or 20 in the state of Colorado. There's probably 1,500 in the country. They're all different software and they don't talk to each other, right? But they do all merge up to Realtor.com and Zillow and Homes.com, and they get transformed on their website for a better product. And that's where most of the buyers are going. So what I do, I market to the buyers. But 99% of them search on those tech companies, assuming that is the actual real MLS, which it's not. 81% of agents sell 3 or less homes a year. That's extraordinary. According to Zillow, 72% did not sell any. So these agents desperate for a sale sometimes will jump out of their office and go show a house without any verification, any vetting, just to hope to maybe get a deal. The other thing that's important to know is basically when you're showing a house, are they going to be tactful and respectful of the property? Not so much. These days, when you're in a home, you have to pretty much expect that you're going to be on camera, right? A lot of people have cameras inside and out. So the sellers will say, hey, how come the agent is saying it's not worth that much? Or how come the agent is saying it won't qualify for that financing? How come the agent is telling the buyer that they could put an AC in when they're standing right next to the AC compressor? Plus, the agents don't leave cards. I've had sellers complain to me about doors unlocked, lights on, doors wide open, combo left in the box, combo box wide open where anybody could just open the door. And that happens all the time. And the worst part is when they use the restrooms and don't flush, when they leave junk. I had recently in January, I had somebody on brand new carpet carry in one of those pizza slice box because they couldn't wait 10 minutes to eat their pizza and just threw it on the brand new carpet. Who does that? Did your mama teach you that? I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff that takes place. And I don't know if the agents don't have the courage to say, hey, pick that up, or yes, you can use the restroom, but just make sure, it's clean, or go check, don't leave the house like that. It's just crazy. Agents also sometimes are the ones that encourage the sellers or encourage their buyers to send lowball offers, right? And I'll ask the agents, how'd you come up with that price? Well, the comps, as if they really know market value. And I think they're encouraging the buyer to make a lowball offer in hopes of getting that home, but it doesn't necessarily mean the seller is going to buy on it. As far as showing appointments, sometimes they're late, sometimes they're early, sometimes they don't show up at all and they fail to cancel. And they don't have formal training on this. They don't know what to do and what to say. So the one thing that drives me probably the most crazy is you've got this buyer that loves the house. I call it the love word. If they're happy with the house, why are these agents going out and showing them more houses after that? Or why are these agents getting a contract and then turning around and keep showing houses? First of all, I think that's very unethical to do that latter part. Second of all, if the buyer says they love it, then stop, go back to the office and try to get them under contract. That's your job. It's not your job to go show them every house available. It's just some of the stuff I see. They're not trained. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about how to avoid showing nightmares. You've heard about all the nightmares. Now we're going to talk about ways to make the process smooth and easy for you. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about moving. What are some agents showing nightmares, and what can home sellers do about them?
Well, first of all, lock up your valuables, take them out of the house, put them somewhere where they can't reach them. We don't have too many problems with theft, but just don't open the door. Also, first impressions are very important. So we help our clients get ready for that, but you want to make sure your house is show ready. Also, plan on having cameras. I think it's a really good idea. I had one home seller where during the inspection, the buyer ordered pizza. And the seller freaked out. They thought they were squatting in their house because the pizza girl showed up and not with just one pizza, but like 4 pizzas and a bag of wings. So you never know what's going to happen. And then also you want to make sure you hire the right agent that can help you avoid these problems. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So before we go, the number for Barb is 719-301-3900. Visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Before we go, you've got some hot new listings coming up. Tell us about them, Barb Schlinker.
I do. I have a fabulous home up in Crystal Park, just under $1 million, beautiful with an RV garage, almost new home, and just gorgeous setting, gorgeous views. Another really good buy, condo on Lexington Village. This condo is over 1,600 square feet. Fabulous home in South Pueblo on 62 acres in the fives. We also have a beautiful patio home on Quartzsite Place in the mid 4s. Another fabulous single family rancher, great for downsizers or first time home buyers in the 4s. Another fabulous home in the northeast part of town on Cortina, over 3,400 square feet, fresh carpet, move-in ready, beautiful. Another great condo on Sonata in the northeast part of town, under 200,000 with reasonable dues. Really, really good for somebody that wants to have to downsize but not have to go to senior care. Or we actually at the open house, we had a first-time home buyer there, which would be a perfect first-time home buyer house. Fabulous place down in Fountain, close to Fort Carson on Elk River View in the low 3s. Another Crystal Park beautiful home on Sugarloaf Road in the mid 8s. A great house on Mead Avenue, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car in the low 3s. Fabulous home on Balsam Street in the low 5s. Home on Gold King is offering a VA assumable loan in the mid 3s. A fabulous home on 5 acres on Warriors Path in the low 6s. And then I have 2 really gorgeous luxury homes. One is a hobby farm on 80 acres on Judge Orr Road with a beautiful custom house, plus auxiliary dwelling unit, plus 11-car garage space at 1.39 million, and another beautiful house up in Florissant, 35 acres with a shop with an auxiliary apartment, priced at 2.15 million. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900. We always have new properties coming up on barbhasthebuyers.com. Click on feature properties. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. If you're thinking of making a move, you should call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Schlinker, or you can listen to the podcast on all of the popular platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thank you for listening this week. To reach out to Barb, that number again is 719-301-3900. Barb, you be safe. We will talk to you soon.
Well, thank you. Have a great weekend.